name is Ray. I want to thank Scotty for allowing me the privilege to be up here and to share at McClay house. And Scotty, I just love you. I just want to tell you that. It's weird because I've said it. I am not a speaker, but I love speaking at a rehab house. I love speaking at the Bimini Club or someplace like that. If any of you have ever been to the Bimini Club down in Vermont, it's a rehab place. And I love speaking. And when I do speak, I never have to worry about being asked back because I really let it out here. And a lot of times, a lot of places, you know, and especially nowadays, speakers want to get asked to another place, and so they're kind of light on the honesty. But Scotty's asked me back here a few times now, and I love it. And I love to be here, and I love to be among the people that are beginning in Alcoholics Anonymous because it's so important today. It is so important today for you people that are sitting here in the newness of Alcoholics Anonymous to hear what I have to say. In another week and a half, I'm going to be sober, clean and sober, for a period of 20 years. Now, that's not a miracle, but it's my miracle. And a miracle of staying clean and sober for 1 year. But when I came into Alcoholics Anonymous, it was a different organization than it is today. It was different. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you anyway. But you right here in this room, you young members, and I've said this before, I say it now at meetings, you're the backbone, you're the souls of Alcoholics Anonymous right now. And if the message of love and tolerance and understanding and unselfishness doesn't come across from a member like me to you, then Alcoholics Anonymous is going to be a selfish, self-centered organization 10 years down the road apiece. I know it, because I've seen the change that's taken place. And so that's why I like to come to a new place like this where there's new members, where there's young members, where there's members starting out on the road of Alcoholics Anonymous and sobriety and a way of life. Because if you're going to hear it from me, that's fine. If I'm going to sit here and say to me, well, you know, I'm here to save my own ass and it's a selfish program, God, haven't you heard that before? Already in your little yearling days or weeks or months of sobriety, I can hear it all over from the people. That's a save your own ass program. You come in here and save your own ass. Sit down, shut up, and listen. It's a selfish program, you know. I'm here for me. I'm here for me. I've heard it. And you want to hear the paradox of the whole deal? Is I'm not here for me. I'm not here tonight for me. I'm not here to save my own ass. I believe not in a selfish program called Alcoholics Anonymous. And I want you ears to hear that. The new ones, the new members, the young members. And the members have been around for a while. If you're all sober for 50 years, fine too. You can hear it too. It's no big deal to me either. Because this is what it's about. It's about love. It's about caring. It's about, he puts his arm around that boy there. And that's love. Putting his arm around that boy. And that's what it's about. That's what Alcoholics Anonymous is all about. Putting the arm around your fellow man and saying, hey, I love you. Or your fellow woman and saying, I love you. Saying, hey, how can I help you? What can I do? And that's what it's about. It's about walking down the street and saying, Jesus, man, I feel good. I'm sober. I'm clean. I'm sober. I feel good. And I'm going to pass it on a little bit to my fellow man. And that's what I learned. That's what I learned in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's what I began my road at learning. I didn't learn that it was all these things today. And I hurt inside. I hurt inside for Alcoholics Anonymous. Because I see the change. I say, my God, I sometimes pounded my dashboard for 2 years ago because there was no place for me anymore in Alcoholics Anonymous. I said, my God, you know, I spent 17 years, 18 years in AA just working with, 17 years and just working with wet drunks. And And you know, I learned some of those a few weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, maybe it was. Alcoholics Anonymous is not the guys. You know, there might be other programs that might work. I didn't realize that. My mind wasn't open to that. It was only open to Alcoholics Anonymous. I have to remember that I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I recovered through a process of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm sober and clean only due to Alcoholics Anonymous. So my only story is Alcoholics Anonymous. It's kind of boring. But if another organization, I cannot knock, and I used to knock other organizations. I can no longer knock other organizations because I don't know what their recovery rate is, and maybe if there's thousands of human beings recovering in other organizations, fine. That's their recovery story, but this is my recovery story. This is an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and I recovered through Alcoholics Anonymous, so you're going to get all Alcoholics Anonymous. But especially at a rehab house, especially when you raise your hand and there's people here with 30 days and under 30 days and 60 days and 90 days and a few months here and a few months there. I mean, my God, you're it. You're the message. You're going to be the message in the years to come. The people here that are sitting in this room tonight and in rooms like it. And it's so important that you, the members, have the message of alcohol, the message of love, the message of tolerance, the message of understanding, of compassion, and to give for the purity of giving. What? You know, I ask sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's a different deal, but when I was out there drinking, when I was out there in one of those bars, there's only one person I thought about. That was me. One person. Now, maybe it's different. Maybe people, when they go in bars and they're drinking and they're having, maybe they think about everybody else and they're full of love and tolerance and understanding for everybody. But I didn't feel that way. I was selfish. I was self-centered. When I walked in the bar, I said, I'm here. Now, they didn't look, but that was my attitude. I'm here. And I'd look around. That was how the world revolved around me. Now, I was a selfish human being. What's in it for me? And I come into Alcoholics Anonymous today and they say, now it's a selfish, now it's for you. Man, it'd be just like rolling off a log. I said, holy shit, man, I don't got to change at all. So in my life, I just thought about me. Now I'm going to come in AA and think about me too. I love that. That's not the way it was when I came in. First thing they said to me, Ray, go out and help somebody else. That's the way it was. Go out and help somebody else. You know, a lot of people say, well, how can you go help somebody else when you can't help yourself? I don't know how that works. I can't answer that question anyway. The point was that there's another soul down there who wrote a piece. Hey, brother, can I help you? And that's the way it used to be. We used to pick up a drunk, bring him into the meeting, and we used to love him back and say, here, hey, let us help you, let us go along with you, and I just love that human being back to sobriety and back into a mainstream of life. And that's what AA was. I mean, I was a proud member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I used to walk down the street going, God damn, I'm sober. Oh, Jesus. I mean, just to be clean and sober and member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Boy, I wanted the whole world to know. You know, in those days it was really anonymity and all this stuff. But I wanted everybody to know. Because I was alive. Man, I was alive. I wasn't dying. I was alive. All of a sudden I learned how to give. Give, that purity of giving. I said, wow. To give for the purity of giving. Now, how long it took me to learn how to give something without asking something in return? Oh, many, many times. And so that's how I used to sit here like you tonight, like you, the man that came in with his first meeting, coming in the first 30 minutes. This is the business of sobriety is infinitely grave. I know men with 17 years went out and drank and never came back. Guys with 22 years come out and drink and never come back. With 10 years, 15 years. We have today, it's been said, sobriety, the man that took his 60-day chip. God bless him. He's right. He's so right. You know, the awareness of alcohol came about. Maybe he hasn't got another shot for another chip, for another 60-day chip. I don't know. But he knows down deep in his soul, and he shared that, and I heard him share that. So he gave to me. And that's what it's about. I got to learn too. I got to learn from you and you and you and you. I got to learn. Because I haven't learned all my lessons. I've learned some of them. but the closeness that's in this room tonight, the caring for each other that's in this room now, we can pull it together. We can all pull it together and come out of here and say, Jesus, man, I'm stay sober one more day. I want to stay sober one more day. I want to stay clean one more day. I want to stay clean one more day. I want to be excited about where I am. I want to say, Jesus, man, I'm excited about being where I'm at. And what are you giving up? You're giving up the souls of the drinking and the using and God, that tremendous obsession. It drives me to drink all the time. It drives me to use. Jesus, that singleness of thought. I wake up in the morning and everything I think about is drinking. It just drives me. That's what I've given up. I've given up that singleness of thought or the obsession. Drink. And in this place came a little flower many, many years ago. A little bud came up and said, I just want to give a little bit. And I didn't know how to give. And I began. And by the time I was 30 days, 60 days, or 4 months, 5 months, man, I pick up drunk things to pick up on the street. Come on, you got to get sober, man. I want you got to get sober. You got to come to a meeting with me. I thought you had to come to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I thought you had to be you bring a drunk. Yeah, that's the way I thought it was. I said, they wouldn't let me through the doors unless I had a drunk with me, so I'd have a drunk with me. I got one. I'd sit there with the drunk, and I'd be, God, I mumbled too in my early days, but I'd sit there and I'd say, I got him. Come on. He wouldn't be with me next week, but I had him that night. I'd go out and find another one, bring him back. Go out and find another one, bring him in. I just did it on and on and on. Yeah, that's the way I thought that's the way it was. To carry the message. I was carrying the message all over. I kicked up bars, everything was where I went. I had a guy for 18 months. If I followed him around for 18 months. He brought me in a bar. Don't feed this guy. Don't give this guy a drink. He belongs to AA. That's right. I said, Jesus, man, I'm out of my mind. There I'd be, Finally, he got sober. He drank himself so much. Poor man, his name was Bob. He got sober, and he was held together by alcohol. And as soon as he got sober, he died. He just couldn't handle sobriety. His body just, fell apart. He was 70 years old when he got sober. But he just fell apart. But I followed him around for 18 months. Guys in the 80s say, man, you're crazy, man. I said, well, what else am I doing? Didn't make any difference. But that's the way it was. But you see, I learned how to give. I learned how to give for the purity of giving. And I didn't understand those words. And today, you walk into some meeting, like, God. I've been up and down the coast, the meeting, God. Sometimes I walk in and say, the love that used to be in those meetings. My responsibility to put it back in. My responsibility to care. My responsibility to say, how you doing, baby? How you doing? That's my responsibility. And somewhere, somehow, somebody, I'm going to, till I die, I don't care where I go to a participation meeting where I participate in, you'll hear me. Because I'm the one that's yelling in the corner. I'm saying, pound your chest and say I'm sober and say you love me. Because that's what it is. And so I said, oh, who's that guy over there talking? Honestly, what's the matter with that? What's the matter with telling the truth? What's the matter with the purity of truth? Purity of truth. Wow. Purity of giving, understanding, tolerance, love. What's the matter with all those things? That's what it was about. And I still learn so much. I still have so much to learn. But the beginning is a beginning with what's here, right here in this McClay house, and the rehab houses down the same. The new people. Can you imagine if everybody coming in, if we said love and understand and be compassionate, what a room would be filled like for this? Can you imagine a room full of love and understanding and compassion for our fellow? What it would be like? To be able to articulate what you feel inside your soul, not worry about being put down. because you don't know the right words. I don't know the right words. To love your fellow man in a meeting, to love your, not to talk about him or to be malicious about him. All these things I've learned in alcoholism. I'm a product of alcoholism. I don't drink today. One day at a time. I don't drink. I don't use. I don't drop any pills. I don't smoke any grass. And I'm going to say this loud and clear. I'm not ashamed to say I'm well with it. Oh, boy, there's a statement. Oh, man, that guy's going to go get drunk. Hey, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I'm at the end of my line right now. Maybe that's cool, too. That's okay, too. But at least you're going to hear the truth on that night that I'm sober. That's the night. But I believe in the things that I say. I believe in them so much. My heart believes in so much. My soul. And I got enough faith and strength inside of me to tell you the truth. And not be afraid to say, I don't have to worry about being asked back or being asked, and it doesn't make any difference to me. Because I love so much Alcoholics Anonymous. And I don't like the change that's taking place. Because of this closeness or this terrible it's not even insidious anymore, this selfishness of it, that's permeated. I mean, as a man, I'll tell you, there are men in Alcoholics Anonymous I look up to, men and women I look up to. And most of those people are full of love and full of understanding, full of compassion. That's who I look up to. Show me love and I'll follow that man. Show it to me. Show me understanding and I'll follow that person. And that's what it's about. And it's about love and tolerance. It's about caring. It's about giving. And I mean, we used to hear speakers years ago. I said, here's this guy Norman Alford. He was the most beautiful man. God, when he would share, I would literally cry. But I'd walk away so proud to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. He would talk about, and I'm saying this and I don't know why, but he'd be talking up there, and he used to start his pitch. He'd talk real fast. I was a rationalizer, a justifier, a compromiser, and besides that, a rotten attitude. That doesn't make me an alcoholic. I don't know what does. An alcoholic by consumption. I drink too much whiskey. And he'd go on and talk about it. And he'd keep talking so fast. And all of a sudden, talking about his mother that was dying and died 2 years before he came into the program. And he tried to make amends to her. He couldn't do it because she was dead. And he says, it was then I began to learn what Alcoholics Anonymous was all about. He said, I began to become a giver instead of a taker. I made that giant's transition. He said, all takers are losers. That he knew because he was a loser, because he was a taker of things and a user of people. He was a loser. And he used to say that like, Jesus, man, he'd be standing at that podium and say that stuff like that. God Almighty, he was food for me. It was just to burn me inside. A guy by the name of Jack Brennan was, here on the way up. He used to stand there and talk with 25 years of sobriety in 1972. And I sat in this big room with 3,000 people. And he used to say, my name is Jack Brennan, I'm an alcoholic. He was from New York. That's a little New York accent. And he would say, I'm here for one individual. One individual. And that one individual. And that's the only reason he was there. And I sit there and I say, yeah. Because I had to learn my lesson. I had to learn how to be a giver instead of a taker. And it was hard. And I used to, and Chuck C used to go to the podium, he used to have that little laugh, And one day he said again, to help me over those times, he'd say he came here to give. He came here and his cup runneth over. And I understood. So I learned my process of lessons. You and McFarland. I could go on and listen. The Marion Chapels, the Virginia Maxwell's. God, I could listen. Every night was the same, different faces, but same speaker, same thought, same thing, coming at me, loud and clear. Give it away, Ray. Give it away. The purity of giving. I used to sit there and say, Bill Allison used to talk about it. He used to sit in a meeting and he used to say, that you're going to take over my spot, you guys, the young members. I'm not going to be here. You're going to be here. And he died. He had 38 years of sobriety. Now I'm where he was when he was talking like that. And someday you're going to be where I'm at, 20 years sober, 25 years sober. You're going to be talking to a group and we say, hey guys, you got to give it away, give it away. Unselfish. That's what it was about. That's what I learned. That's what I learned through the years, and I was doing it. How to do that one thing. I never stood in the sideline and said, well, I'm sick, I can't go do it. And I wish I could sit here and say, well, it was an easy trip. It was an easy trip. No, many of the times I wanted to drink. Many of the times my soul hurt so bad, I wanted to drink. But I had the tools to be able to combat that drink. I had not learned all the lessons I had to learn throughout the period of time like that, the same as I am right now. There are lessons all the way across the path. But if the selfishness and the self-centeredness is the root of my problem, that's the root of my problem. When I walk into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, if I'm the only one with a problem, that's okay. But in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it says that's the root of the alcohol, that's the root of our problem. Then we got a problem here. And if I pour out selfishness and self-centeredness to everybody that comes in, it's just the people that I share with and say, hey man, you got to take it, man. You got to take. Come here to take. You have a room full of takers. And I'm going to lose. And that's what hurts me sometimes inside. So I'm very passionate when it comes to this, especially talking to new people. I don't want to drink today. I just don't want to drink. I am sober and clean and I don't want to drink. And that's my deal. I believe in a God as I understand it. I believe in the precepts as written out in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. As they're written. I know it's a boring story, but it's true. This is the way it's done. I say, okay, that's the way it's done. I don't have to blaze any new trail. I don't have to write any new scriptures. I don't have to do anything. Just got to follow the path. Boring. It truly is boring. I just follow the path and you get there. Yeah. Yeah, she's yawning in the front row. But anyway, that's okay. But it's really in essence, that's what I've done. I've followed the path, and I have arrived at a point to where I am inside. Now, it's not outside. Inside, I feel good. And 20 years ago at this time, I held a bottle of gin in my hand. And I uttered 3 words before whatever it is. I said, please God help me, I don't want to drink this. And from that day to this day, I haven't had to drink. That was in July of 1969. I uttered the words, so to speak, my cry of despair. I had drank so much, gone so far, that I no longer wanted to go any further. And my body was erect. I had sores on my body that used to ooze. They used to get those big sores on my face. They pop out. I had long hair. I was bleeding from the inside. I used to hear telephones all the time. It used to be, I never used to tell, I used to get kind of embarrassed when you hear the telephones. It was never so bad when you were in a room where there wasn't phone. but when you were walking down the street and you were with some friends and you said, did you hear that phone ring? That got a little embarrassing a few times. But the point is that there were no more jobs for me. There were no more places for me. I was shuffling along. My hair was long. I was bearded, and I was about, well, I weigh 180 now, 185. So I was 128, 130 pounds. I was gaunt, and I had reached the end of my line when I had held that bottle of gin in my hand. I was mumbled in my mouth. I could not talk anymore. I had long since worked. I had not worked many months, a year, maybe a year. I didn't know where or what was going on. I was just in the grips of this alcohol. An ounce or 2 or 3 of alcohol would make me totally immobile, which was one of the great phenomena. I always thought about that. God, I used to be able to drink gin, and now I could only drink a little 4 or 5 ounces, and I'd be right out of it. Wow, that's a miracle. This must be good, my lucky day. I didn't know that the tolerance of alcohol was going down. So I was in a helpless and hopeless state of mind and body, which is what I had arrived to. There was no hope. I had been going to AA, and it just was not going to work. I couldn't make it work, and I keep going to AA, and I keep waiting for that miracle to happen, and the thunder and the lightning. It just never happened. Anyway, it was in July, and I don't know if the 21st was the date, but it was July when I held that bottle of gin. I woke up one time out of an alleyway and directing traffic in Hollywood, and I said, man, there's just something really radically wrong with this whole situation. And then a beautiful thing happened to another, the 3 concurrent days that I remember. And one of them before that was that I was going to die. And it was a very beautiful, euphoric feeling that came over me. It was a very warm feeling. And this was my, so to speak, end. And it was okay. Everything was okay. It was very peaceful. It wasn't meant to be. I would lock myself. I went busting into my ex-wife's house. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 days. I don't even remember. I don't even know what it was. There were only flashes in my head. But I sobered up. I went through the DTs, and I went through the heebie-jeebies. I went through every physical manifestation of the disease of sobering up by myself, which I don't like to suggest. But I'm very quick to bring a man to a hospital. But I mean, my body that was pulsating. It was a horrible. The stench of alcohol was scooping up the body. It was a horrible time that and I don't, like I said, I don't remember vividly every single thing that happened, but I remember it was about 10 days later, and I walked out. I stood outside the sun, and it was in August. I had my arms down, and I said, I'm sober. And I was hitchhiking to an alcoholics anonymous. I had long since lost all the money and my property, and that was kind of minor stuff. The police, and many times being stopped at the 502. In those days, it was a little different in the early '60s. Drunk driving wasn't like it is today. I don't know. Last count I remember was like about 35 times I've been stopped for drunk driving. But you know something? Those weren't. It wasn't no big deal in those days. Not like it is. They got the shotguns on me and all. I said, go ahead and shoot. They said, now wait a minute. And before that, it was just all mixed up with this alcohol dilemma. And anyway, this is what came to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm going to say this too. The deeper despaired you are, you, the new people here tonight, the deeper despaired you are, the quicker you're going to grasp the lifeline of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's no bullshit. That's an ego buster too. Everybody wants to be the worst. When your soul is down and out and down for the count, you'll grab a hold of this and you'll hold on with your life. Because you'll know the despair that you, the individual, has been through. Not me, you. And if Scotty said, this is the way it goes, you say, yeah, okay. There'll be no argument. The ones that argue, the ones that put up the walls and put up this, they say, well, I'm not that well, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. The despair is not in the soul yet. Once that man tonight, what was his name? The despair begins to come in. Maybe I don't have any more tickets left. And I'll grab a hold. Because I want to live. Because I want to live. And if you want to die, I will, personally, love you. This is no joke. Because I've been there. I will love you until you die. I will not undignify your death. That's not to frighten you because it doesn't, but I will not undignify your death. If you are drinking and you choose to drink for the rest of your life until you die, I will dignify you as a human being. I will. I will never turn my back on you and say, well, I will. But if you're struggling and playing games with AA or alcohol and all this, with the talk, your mouth is talking. There's no dignity in that. There is no dignity in that. Your struggle is just for ego or whatever that is, that other element is. You're here, all of you, tonight. You have a chance to make that step over. You have an opportunity to say, hey, not an opportunity for yourself, but an opportunity down the road of peace to help another human being. I took my fourth step of Alcoholics Anonymous to try to help another human being. I want to learn it, but I already learned the basic thing of giving. And I said, well, I'll learn it. I'll learn that so I can pass it on to somebody else. And boy, did I learn how to do that good. Because my motive was twisted and turned to the right way. Turn it to the right way. That's all it is. A guy asked me last night, what is it, Ray? What is it, Ray? What is it? I said, just give. Just keep giving. It'll work out. And so I'm sober. I got sober. Then I got a couple of months, and then 5 months. We didn't have chips, but and I learned. I can't go into a story tonight, but I learned. I began to learn the process, as it's stated in the book. Trust the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Trust the line, not the change line. Trust the line that are written in the book. This is what it says. There's a one powerful line in the chapter 2. I want to give it to you. And it's so powerfully beautiful. It goes on in the chapter 2 and it said, we have discovered a common solution, a way out on which we can absolutely agree. And that's the great news for those of us that are alcoholics. And it goes on to say, or it says it tucked in there, it says that we can join in brotherly harmonious action. And that's the great news for those who suffer from alcoholism. That's what it says. A way out on which we can absolutely agree. Can you imagine agreeing on something so absolutely that you never have to go any further or look any further than right before your eyes? And that's what I found. That's what was taught to me. That's what was given to me. And maybe I get a little bit over, what's the word, whatever it is, over emotional. But, and I know there's people in this room that don't like what I have to say here tonight. I know that. You can't be in a room with people, and they'll leave tonight and they what the fuck with that guy? Shit on him too, And I know that he's there. So when you hear that, say, hey, man, it's cool. No big deal. I've been told that before, so no big deal. It's okay. But for that man, listen good. Don't judge me by what I say. But judge me that I've been sober for 20 years. And that's America. That's truly America. And also judge me the fact that I do care enough to speak the truth here tonight. I care enough to let you say, let you take a look at me inside without worrying about saying the nicest, right thing. The right thing. I can come in here and say all the right things. And then everybody will like me. Well, maybe I said a lot of wrongs. That's okay. But it was the truth. There's nothing here I have said that is distorted truth. No untruth I have said here tonight. Everything is written and documented in the the book of Alcoholics Anonymous that I've said here. There's nothing that I've said on my own brain because I don't have too good a brain going cooking. I don't have any analogies that are really swift or any kind of stories that are really say, ah, man, whoa, I rewrote that one. Did not know. Everything is written, everything is said, everything I've said is documented in the book, and I can show you where it is in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's been taught to me by the people of Alcoholics Anonymous, paradoxically taught to me by the people of Alcoholics Anonymous. There's a multitude of things that are learned here. How many people in this room can say? There is one who has all power, that one is God, may you find him now. That's what it says. But not so today. Today we got meetings that if you don't believe in God, it's okay. That's what they got. They got an agnostic meeting. They got a meeting to fit every sickness that we got in Alcoholics Anonymous. Everything, anything that you don't want, that you don't like, that you say, I don't like that, they'll have a meeting for next week. And you go to that meeting. You know, they got the anything. I'll just bore it by saying that. But in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, they don't have a meeting that says, there is one who has all power, that one is God, may you find him. The half measures avail us nothing. That's what it says. We stood the turning point. We asked his protection with complete care and abandon. That's what it says. A, that we're alcoholics and couldn't manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could relieve our alcoholism. C, that God could and would if he were sought. That's what it says, documented right there. Now today they twist it and turn and say, well, we don't particularly like that now. And they grind that God as we understand him. They grind it, to the point that, well, it's as we understand him. Well, sure, so what's the big deal? I'm going to let you have that. But you got to shove it down my throat. There is one who has all power. That's one is God. As you understand him, may you find him now. You know what I mean? Just it's simple. But because I want to be tricky and I want to be a little bit different than the next guy, I'll change that around a little bit. I'll get caught up in that aroma of bullshit. That's what it's about. Now this is true. But the straight facts. Never said strip the facts and go strip it down. When you take your shirt off, you got your shirt off. When you take your shirt off, you got your shirt off. Nobody says, well, I got another shirt on. When it's off, it's off. But not in AA, when you got your shirt off, the guy says, no, you got another shirt off. You got your shirt off. The book of Alcoholics Anonymous is pure. The principles are pure. Love and tolerance. That's what it says. That's what it says there. We must also, after the 10th step or 9, one of those steps, it says we must grow in effectiveness and understanding. How many times have you tossed that around in the Alcoholics Anonymous? Effectiveness and understanding. And then, you know what it says there? That must continue for a lifetime. How long does it take me to pull that one around? But no, I'll grind it out and say, well, self-will run riot today. Well, where's your effectiveness and understanding? And this is you're sitting here new tonight. And if you don't hear a word I say, it's okay. But just know, man, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you how it was with me, what it was with me, and the way it is today with me, and I'm not afraid to say the truth. The truth. To develop a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. That's what I'm doing. I'm developing a manner of living which demands a kind of honesty that has kept me sober all these years. I am not afraid to let you look inside of me and look at my faults, which I have. And to say, hey, take a look at me, help me. Love me, care about me. Because I care about you. And this is what I've learned. Everything I have here, everything, is what I've learned in Alcoholics Anonymous. And you said, that's what I say. They said, well, Ray, what did you do? I would point it out. I read it to you. Again, how I do it. The reason I know the book so well, not because I'm so smart, was because of the thousands of people that I've come in contact with that wanted answers. And every time they wanted an answer, I grab the book and I give them the answer. Well, if 1,000 people come up to you and 500 of them got asking the same question, you're going to go to the same, over and over again, the same questions. Going to be answered the same way. God's will. That's another big one. I won't go into that tonight, but that's a heavy one. Everybody says, I'm here because, or it's God's will. I'm here tonight. Well, that's not true. Scotty called me and asked me to come over here. That's how I got No, that's the truth. That really is the truth. God's will is the fact that when I got here, I gave. That's God's will. Or that I was out in the parking lot that I gave. That's God's will. Not God's will that I'm here. It's God's will that I give wherever I go. You know, a lot of people say, well, I have a good job now, and it's God's will I got this good job. Well, he doesn't give a shit where you work. You know? Because if he gives a shit where you work, then I'm in deep shit. Because I don't work. I don't mean to swear with my friend, my brother there. So. Anyway, but those are things, you know, it gets all distorted and not well, it's anonymous. And you know, we walk into a room and everybody's pulling up, you know. I mean, we're here, we got to be earthy, we got to be together, we got to be saying, yeah, this is the way it is, this is the way I feel, my soul, my heart. Put it out on the counter and say, this is the way I feel. Say, what's wrong with doing it the right way? What is wrong with the right way? Jesus Christ. Oh, what's wrong with saying a few prayers to God? Jesus Christ, help me, goddammit. What's wrong with that?
You're always pretty God saying goddammit.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know, these are the steps we took. What's wrong with doing it the right way, my friend? My brothers, my sisters, my brothers in this house here. What's wrong with doing it the right way? Show me the right way to go. Your opinions, that's another big one. Everybody will stick with their opinion. My opinion, my Jesus Christ. Where did he go? He got rolled over. The steamroller is coming over, but it's my opinion, man. Jesus, they'll stick with that opinion until they're rolled over. Slide of the opinion, my opinion. Jesus, they'll stick with that one. Oh, man. I used to be an opinionated, self-centered, egotistical, everything you are, I am, you are, we are. We're all together. We're all, you know, the same thing. And for once in my life, over a period of 19 years, 11 months, and 2 weeks, and a few days, I've done it another way. I followed a path. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has followed our path. You know, you got to be out of your mind. If anybody in this room is going to go to San Francisco, and you go to Tijuana first. I really mean it. You know, where are you going? And you're on your way. I pass Los Angeles. I pass Hollywood. Where are you going? I'm going to San Francisco. Aren't you on the road? Well, yeah. No, well, yeah. You just don't do it that way. If you wanted to go to San Francisco bad enough, I guarantee you turn right the car around, go up Route 5, all the way up, and go north. Not south. But in AA, my opinion is, well, I can go anywhere I want. Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. I'm going north, south, east, and west by the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm going follow the path. Rarely have we seen a person fail that's thoroughly following our path. And that's all I've been doing. And over a period of this time, I've developed a manner of living which demands a kind of honesty, that integrity with my own soul, my own very being, my own self, to put forth out to other people. And the result is that I become a human being. Not the great human being, but I have become a human being that cares. And I don't want anything for myself. I know that's a sick thought, but that's the way it is. And that's the way I feel. And that's what I have come to. That's a road and a path that I have come to. My head, inside my head, is like, there's nothing in it. I wish I had an empty glass. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in my head. There isn't anything in my head. It's just empty. Blow right through it. Then, just says, where can I give? Okay. And that's all it does. Now, I'm not susceptible, and I want to say this, and then I'll shut up. I'm not devoid of getting angry. I'm not devoid of all the frustrations of life. I'm not devoid of being hurt, of crying, of feeling remorse, of resenting, of talking about other people, all the things that are normal. I'm not devoid of any of those things. I don't walk in any water, and I'm on no spiritual high. But I trust my God and I have courage. I trust my God and I have courage. And I trust Him with my life. I trust Him with my sobriety. And I have enough faith. I have enough faith that I can take another human being who hasn't got enough faith for today and carry him over a hurdle. And carry them over a hurdle. And trust that it'll work for you. You have jobs to do. You have many things to do in life. I maybe only have a few more things, and maybe I got many more things. I really don't know. But the point is that I want to be clean and sober, and I want to be a giver. I don't want to be a taker, because I really truly believe all takers are losers. That's what I believe. I love that. That's what I was taught. You want to take? Go ahead. It's okay. This I believe. This I believe. I really mean this. I love with everything in my soul my fellow man today. I have reached a point, there are no colors. There are, they have the blacks and the whites and all the segregation, all that bullshit goes on. I have no discrimination of anything whatsoever. There's only one group of people I stay away from, and that's a very small, minute group of people that maybe I can't get along with. There might be 4 or 5 people. And I just don't want them near me. Just stay away from me. When I really get like maybe come back in years to come, I'll be so spiritual and I'll say those 5 or 4 people, I'll have them with me, I'll embrace them, But until that time, fuck them, That's the way. I'm going to say it again loud and clear. Alcoholics Anonymous has been, will continue to be the whole and complete answer for me to this alcohol. You people that are starting on your journey today, right now, we have started together. I have started with you today. If today is your first 30 days, I have traveled the first 30 days with you. I am in your first 30 days with you. I will travel it with you. I'm available at any time, any place, anywhere to help anybody, any human being out. But I truly love you. And I truly care about you. And I'm not bullshit. Thank you.
Well, let's give Ray another hand, please.